There's a another book that I just recently read. I'm gonna butcher this name, so sorry. Yagami Moon, which is the title's different.
I can't even spell that. Yeah,
it's begins with Y and ends with me. I think it's Yagami.
Yagami.
Moon.
Okay.
The way you know the title.
Yeah, it sounds Japanese.
Yes,
okay.
It's different. And the way you know the title, there's a black lab and a white lab, and in the middle there's this Dalmatian.
Okay.
She gave this example of, and it speaks to your finding your unifier. Ferrari and Volvo, right? Okay. And they run these tests, and everyone talks about how safe Volvo is.
I know. It was my first car because my dad, it was safe.
Okay.
I kid you not. Is that awful? It was so embarrassing.
Well, so on the flip, Ferrari scores rather low on safety because Ferrari is sexy and speed.
Right. And you're driving it really fast.
Yes.
My dad did not buy me a Ferrari.
Okay.
Dad.
I've never had one either.
No.
But if Ferrari looked at those consumer reports and said, wow, we score really low on safety, we ought to fix that.
Right.
They just became Volvo.
Because this is our first week of, they're starting to go back to school. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they're for me at this point. I don't know. But anyway, kids aside, we are talking about finding your people and figuring out how we're surrounding ourselves with the right, or learn how to surround ourselves with the right people. So I know you've read the book because you were one of my beta readers. You got to read it before everybody else.
Yes, I did.
So when I started to talk about finding your people, what was your first thought? Because when I say that to people, they're just kind of like, what the heck are you talking about?
Oh, I was like, ugh.
Really?
Yeah.
Like in a bad way? Like you didn't want to find them or what?
Kristen, I just don't really have that many friends. My tribe is very...
Bless you.
But see, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
My tribe is very tight knit.
Okay.
And close, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Some may call that boring. I love it.
Boring. Well, all right, and this is one thing that's important to remember. So when I say finding your people, I'm not talking about quantity. I'm talking about quality. So some people and I've said this on the show before for those of you guys who listen, everybody assumes I'm this big extrovert. I'm a very large personality. I'm a lot, right? That's what I keep being told. I'm really probably more introverted than people realize. Like I like my downtime. I like alone time. Love being by myself. But I still have a lot of people that I surround myself with. But that doesn't mean that's all my tribe. You know what I mean?
We have Michelle Spellman on saying good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Michelle Spellman. How are you? Speaking about tribe, Michelle is in my small group, so love having you join in. So yeah, we're I don't know, it's a quality thing for me. So and I had this discussion with my daughter too the other day. I feel like I have several friend groups, if you will.
Yeah, that
and
makes sense.
Some are big, some are small. And my daughter's like, you can only have one tribe. Like you don't get more than one tribe. And I was like, yes, you can, because they're from as an adult, they're from all different walks of life. Some of them are professional friends, some of them are from church, some of them are people I know, through kids, but they're all different groups. And I'm definitely have people within those that I'm closer with, that are truly like my people. Yeah. I've got my people, then I've got my people.
Yeah. I have person.
You have a person. Whitney is a one person here. So, but finding your people, when I think about it, and let's talk about it personally first, and then we'll dive into how it translates professionally, because I think that's huge. But personally, it's really, I feel like as I've gotten older, and we had the big birthday but we're in a new month now. We had the big birthday last month. And I feel like as I've gotten older, I just don't tolerate any BS anymore. Yep. Like I just don't have room for people who are draining my energy, who are victims and, addicts, and just, not that you think we're all addicts, but, the victim mentality. There's some people that you're just like, for the love of all things holy, this person drains the life out of me.
Yeah.
Did you have those people, or have you just naturally kept away from them?
Yeah, no, I did. And I feel like, a lot of this, I feel like it's based on the dose of those people that you have. I feel like I had a really strong dose of that in my younger years.
Okay.
So I feel like for me that came faster, like about 28, 30 years old.
That's early though. That's good.
Yeah. And I love it.
So last year.
Longer than that. But I remember someone asked, like, well, how does it feel to be 30? And I said, I like it better than 29.
Heck
and
yeah.
I kind of feel that each year.
Yep.
But I really have narrowed down on, this might speak to my only childness.
Okay.
I'm super close to my family. So family is everything to me. And then I say I have I've got my one really close girlfriend that we met in college and went through a lot together in college.
Yep.
And we've just always remained friends. She's that one that, the stories you hear about, like we can go months or years.
Sure.
Because she got married and I got married and then she just had her first daughter. So we experience that time and we go through that. But as soon as we pick up the phone and text one another, it's just reconnecting. I mean, we pick up right where we left off.
I think there are a lot of relationships like that where they just pick up where they left off. And I have some, throughout my life that have lasted. I have some, they always say people are here for a reason or a season.
Yeah.
I unfortunately should have cut off some of those reasons a little bit sooner than I did. Like I said, I'm a slow learner when it comes to relationships, but there's so many people that just tolerate and just have people in their lives that you're like, why the heck are they there? And I'm not saying you got to be mean or cut them off completely, but like you mentioned, some people are small dose people. I have people in my life, I will not name them, but are small dose people. I have people in my family who are small dose people. And it doesn't mean that they're not meant for you. It just means that, you know what, you've got to protect your energy and your just approach to life. Because some people will suck the living bejesus out of you if you let them, right?
Yeah. Isaac's going to laugh at me because when I was restudying these chapters this morning.
Yes.
To really focus in, and there's a new, who's your guy that just came out with a new album? Lil Wayne? Okay.
I think it's Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne just came out. Okay.
Just came out with a new album that Isaac's been listening to, and there was this one lyric that he was going off about. He's like, "Oh, this is a great lyric," and it truly is. So in the song, and I'm sorry, Lil Wayne, I'm gonna butcher it, but he says, "Mama said don't talk to strangers, so I don't talk to myself."
Ooh, Lil Wayne throwing out some deep lyrics here.
So the other day,
I like that.
Days after Isaac is like honing in on this lyric, I was upset about something. I was in the car and I said, "You know what, Lil Wayne, I do know myself. I can't talk to myself. It's other people when I listen to them that I run into the problem." So I was like, I know who I am, and I 9 times out of 10 always have the right answer to me in most cases. And it's when sometimes you got to know who to go to for that outside counsel. For sure. Because if they don't line up with you, they're going to be telling you something else that you know is not right.
Right.
But they're your friends, so you
listen to them.
But
and that's the big thing about finding your people and making sure they're truly for you. I've said before, your relationships need to bring you closer to your goals or energize you. One of the two. Bringing you joy, closer to your goals. But even within that, once people are in your circle and you allow them in, it's really a matter of figuring out, like, is this person for me? And what I mean by that is I have a lot of friends. I've got a lot of circles, like I mentioned, but I have probably, I can count them on less than one hand. The people that I would truly go to that opinions matter. And these are the people that, I know they're going to tell me, they've got my best interest at heart. They know me as well as probably better than I know myself on some days. So I know I'm going to get the right advice. And I think that's the problem with so many people until they've really found their people, is they're going to the wrong people to listen. They're listening to the wrong folks. Like why would you go to somebody for advice if you don't respect them, if they don't get you, if they don't understand you? But we do that all the time. And we, and social media has gotten worse than that. Like people, I get a ton of nice comments, and I get a ton of mean comments too. And I get some really nice, I don't respond to DMs, just for those of you guys listening. If you DM me and I don't know you personally, I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't respond because I get a lot of them. I digress. But I don't go to people and ask people for advice if they don't know me, because why would their opinions matter? The same thing on social. People right now, it is election season, if you haven't heard. And so people are getting so up in arms and bent out of shape, and I'll see people fighting, and I'm like, why the heck are you guys fighting? You don't even know each other. Like, why is someone else's
Yep.
opinion that important to you if they're not in your circle?
Yeah.
So part of my point in the book was find your people that matter so you know whose opinions to listen to, because those are the ones that care. And if they
Yep.
care enough, they're going to push back when you do something stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, my closest relationships, I'll call them and they'll call me out for sure. If they're like, what the heck are you doing? And
Yeah.
but they do that personally and professionally all across the board. And that's why finding the right folks is so critical.
Yeah.
But I think people don't do that. I think people just, I don't know if it's, we think they're scared. Like a lot of times we just aren't pursuing the relationships we should be.
Yeah, and I feel like we've come a little bit of a society of the closest person who's listening to
Yeah.
me, which again is we don't need to be telling our problems or
Right.
even our dreams. That even goes back to your dreams
For sure.
because
Absolutely.
if you have those dreams and your mind is on level 10 and you're telling your dreams to someone whose dreams are on level 6,
Yep.
they're going to crush every
Yeah.
bit of that before you've even given birth to that idea.
And sometimes people don't want to see other people succeed. That's one of
Yeah.
the things I'm uber aware of with
Yeah.
my friend group is they all want to see everybody win. They are all supportive. They are all encouraging. Because for me, I mean, I'm a business person, I'm a business strategist. So
Yeah.
I'm a personal professional development junkie all day long. So if I have people in my circle who aren't supporting one another, they don't fit.
Yeah.
I think people, I mean, you're right. There's some dream crushers out there.
Yep.
And unfortunately, so for those of you guys listening who have those people, it's hard to do, but you have to decrease those relationships or cut off those relationships. You
Yeah.
can't let them have influence in your life and your decision making.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to cut anybody off?
I have, and it's hard because you kind of have to have that conversation of like, it's not me, it's you.
You can
but
just ghost
it's
them.
not
I think
me, it's
ghosting's
you.
a thing too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not-
That's true. It is now. Thanks, Ariana.
Yeah.
It is. That's so hard though, because I feel you also mentioned in the book that a lot of times the friends that we have, even the ones that shouldn't be in our lives
Yep.
anymore, we meet them in certain points of life, right?
Yes.
So like school, like my friend Christina and I, if we would have met in high school, our relationship would have been completely different than when we would have met in our later years of college.
For sure.
Because you're just on a different level. So it's hard to have someone that you've grown up with or that you've been friends with for
Yep.
a while, you've known for a while, to all of a sudden look at them and be like, yeah, I've kind of outgrown you.
Yeah.
Because that can be
Well, I don't think
painful
you can
to
say
them.
that.
Yeah.
I know I'm growing way
Yeah,
faster than
but
you
you're
are, so
not.
you're out. I mean, you can't say
Yeah,
that. But I
you have
feel
to
like you can
find a transition.
you can and you
Yeah.
can distance yourself, and that's one of the points I want to make sure people get from the book is that it's not about being blunt and go, look, I'm here, you're not, see you later, because that would be really rude.
Yeah.
And I've seen people do that, but that's not my recommendation. What it is just distancing and widening the gap, or the small dose friends that are driving you nuts. Include them in group settings. I mean, you can pass around the driving you nuts if
Yeah,
you're in a
yeah.
group, so you can create boundaries. Is really what the thing is if if somebody's not treating you well, if they're treating you like crap, then get rid of them. But you can create boundaries, you can create distance, and still be able to focus your time and effort on the relationships that matter.
So what
that are
do you
fun.
say when they're like, why are you not hanging out with me anymore?
I got a whole slew of kids. I just said I got kid stuff. Kid stuff.
Oh, that's
you can't.
good.
No, I'm just
Sweet
teasing.
pea. It was sweet pea.
The dog was getting you. But it. I mean, here's the thing: is we spend so much time worrying about what other people think and
That's
what
true.
and most of the time, if you can't hang out, you can't hang out,
Yeah.
and we forget the fact that no is a complete sentence, or I can't. You know what? I'd love to go to dinner. You know what? I'm swamped this week. I can't. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean, and that doesn't, I say that to some of my closest friends, because truly on a lot of weeks, I'd love to go do something, but I can't.
Yeah.
So if there's somebody that you need to distance, just create distance. If they're treating you poorly, the boundaries are a big, big, big thing. Those are harder conversations. But it's, you've got to protect yourself first.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people don't do that. I feel that they spend the bulk of their time trying to please other people. And we talked about being a people pleaser in there. And I know that's one of the things you and I've discussed before, just historically, is like, we spend so much time worrying about the other folks. I wish we'd spend as much time focused on what's right for us.
Yeah. It's probably why I only have one really good
It's probably
friend.
why you have one. No, I'm just you can borrow some of mine. No, it's it's interesting because I think one good friend, like true friend that you can go to for anything, outweighs a gazillion friends that are surface. Like I'm not a surface person. I don't like surface conversations. I hate networking events because I don't like small talk.
Yeah.
And it's the more deep you can go with somebody. Like I was telling you, I have a friend that will stay up until 3 a.m. chatting and talking. And it's great conversations. We're not talking about, hey, how's the weather or how's the game? It's truly like deep conversations. And I love that. I would put that over anything just because it's fun. Like that's where you connect with people. And that's where you see if they really are for you or not. Like if you're out there and your relationships are staying surface, you don't know if this person's for you.
Yeah.
Like you really don't, because you haven't gone anywhere to get depth. And I get that some people want to stay surfacey, but I'm a deeper person. So my closer relationships, my really good girlfriends are all the ones that we talk about stuff, like real stuff. Because life is hard. I've mentioned on the show before, I get pushback because I tend to stay positive on social. It does not mean that I don't have bad crap happen. I have bad crap happen all the time.
You just know where to take it.
I just know where to take it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to, and it's not putting on airs. It's not pretending like everything's perfect. I totally admit it, but I don't need the opinion of 5,000 followers to tell me, here's what you should do.
Yep.
I take it to my people. And that's really the message, is when you have the right people that know you, get you, understand you, and love you, you get the right advice.
Yeah. 100%.
100%.
So we have Miriam with praise hands, and then
Praise
Tran Bowie.
Miriam with the
And
praise
Tran.
Amen.
And we got our faves in today.
Our
this
tribe.
morning. Our tribe.
Your tribe. I'm
See,
borrowing.
That's one of the things. I know. You get the right people that engage, and a lot of the people comment everything. These are my tribe. This is my group of girlfriends that are always supportive, and it's critical. Like these are the ones that I'm going to call and we have group texts. We just having a crappy day, and you need that to be able to lift everybody up.
Yeah. I love that.
I know it's fun, but let's shift gears for a minute, because we're talking about all this personally, which is critical, and I think everyone can do that. But I want to make sure that people are also looking at this professionally, because in the work that I do with my clients and coaching, I'm a strategist. I want to scale businesses. I want to help them make more money, have more fun, just love what they're doing more. And what I've found in the last 30 years in the workforce is that if you're in a job, in a career, in a company, whatever, that you hate, you're going to be miserable. Life is going to pretty much suck. So a big part of that is making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people, both from where you work and from a client perspective, like a target market. So that's where, that's where I get into target marketing. When I was in finance, we always talk about target market. Everybody's like, find your people, but it's really like, I work with physicians, I work with accountants, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there's so many subsets of that. There are some physicians that are crappy people and are not fun to be around. No offense to you doctors listening, but there are.
Yeah.
So it's really looking at your career and your business and figuring out, who do I really want to work with? Really want to work with.
Yeah.
And I'm very clear in my practice in my business. I work exclusively with financial advisors and with female executives and business owners, entrepreneurs, like creatives, people like that. And they're my people. Like, I get jazzed up. So many times we talk about target market and we define it like that, right? But I want you to go deeper. Like, I really push my clients and really challenge everybody listening to describe your person. So for me, the best client for me, I want a Uber-driven type A female who's owning a business, who wants to crush it personally and professionally, but also loves really great shoes and likes to go have wine night with the girls. That's what I want. If you are crazy busy, but still want your wine night and still want to just crush things, that's my people. I get those people. And every single person I work with and coach that fits that category, I just love. So I look at my client calendar during the week. I'm like, yes, this is good. I don't have a single client I work with that I'm like, I'm dreading, right? Because a lot of people do that. A lot of people, when I'll start working with a client, I'm like, look at your calendar, pull out your calendar. And I'll have them do this. I'm like, take a peek this week. Anybody on there that you're like, oh, I really don't want to see this person.
Yep.
So, I mean, for those of you guys listening, do that. Pull out your calendar for this week and ask yourself that question. Be really honest. What appointment, what client, what person am I dreading having on my calendar?
Yeah.
Those are not your people. And the quicker you can get away from them professionally, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
And I have gotten pushback when I speak to groups and companies on this and on target marketing as well. You need to take all the business. You really don't. There is enough business to go around.
Yep.
You need to take the business that's right for you. And it's some of my closest relationships professionally are other coaches and consultants that do exactly what I do. But we just each have our people, and we will refer back and forth because somebody might be a better fit for somebody else than they are for me.
Mm-hmm. When you work so hard to get those clients.
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
And it's certainly disappointing when you've worked really hard for one and you get into it and you were like, wow, probably should have let this one go. But I kept trying to force, again, that round circle into the square peg when it just like all the signs were there.
Yep.
And it even gets down to closing like for us, closing the deal. Yeah. If anything I say or the price is gonna turn you off, then that's okay.
Totally okay.
This is the price that I'm worth. This is the price my team is worth.
Yep.
And I'd rather find that out now than to start working with someone and it's a struggle to get them to pay you. It's just as with finding out who your friends are, it's paying attention to all those flags of like, maybe you should turn around.
Yeah. And that starts with knowing yourself, because when I've definitely taken on clients that price was a challenge for them and they were tough. I felt like they were, worried and everything right now. And I get it. I interviewed a potential client the other day, or I should say, or a couple weeks ago, she interviewed me and was looking for a coach, came highly referred by another client of mine. And we had a great conversation. We really hit, like, I was like, oh my God, you're my people. Like she was totally my people. And it came down to price. And she, she reached out and she goes, I really want to work with you. And she goes, she's a little bit newer in her career than a lot of my typical clients. So I was priced out a little bit for her. And, a lot of people would have said, you know what, I'll come down to my price, because I would love to work with her. But I know what I'm worth. I know what my time is worth. So, we had a great conversation. She's like, I really want to work with you, but it's only the price thing. And she said, I'm going to go with another coach. And she goes, and I'm going to build, and I'm coming back because I really, really, really want to work with you. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Yeah. Because I know at some point she'll be a client. She really will. But too many people will like, oh, I'll pare myself down, or I'll lower my rates, or know your worth. My worth, I know what it is. And I know I'm looking forward to working with her because I think we had a great conversation. But you know what? It's not everybody's for you. Yep. And you've got to be able to walk away from those things. And I tell my clients this all the time. If you are settling for B and C prospects, I take my clients and I have them categorize their client base. Most of mine are in professional services. They're higher end stuff. And I'm like, tell me your A, B, and C client. Let's really define them. And so many people are spending all their time with their C's. And they're like, bending over backwards and going the extra mile and doing all this stuff. And not that a C client's bad, because my C client may be your A. I don't know. But what I'm saying is you'll never scale a business if you're not paying attention to, all right, these are the big guys. These are who I really, really, really want to work with. And, I get people, this girl went to another coach. That's perfect. The coach that she ended up using is a very good coach. She's just newer. And I think she'll do a fantastic job with her. And then when she's ready to, scale again, we'll get there. But I think people got to stop, if you're listening and you're in business, you've got to stop discounting yourself. You've got to stop figuring out, or I guess stop trying to just, a discount's really the word that keeps coming to mind.
Yeah.
Why do you think? I mean, I see that a ton. And I see it every industry, everything.
Of why we take less than we're worth.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's it comes back to what got you here won't get you there. Yep. You start your business and you do have to take everything, but there's a certain point where you have to shift in your business and in your mindset to say, this is what I'm charging. This is where I stand. And a lot of that does come with experience, right? When
Yeah.
you are newer to your business or whatever it is you're doing, you're learning. You're using that opportunity to learn. But at some point, you grow and you have more experience than anybody else out there, and you have to charge for it.
Yep.
It also comes back down to fun. So we just came up with a new marketing plan. It's very still under wraps.
A super secret marketing plan.
Yeah. But when we were thinking about it, it kind of goes back to Dollar Shave Club, right?
Yeah.
And there's a hair dye company that's out there that's like, I'm going to dye today. You're going to dye today. And they're talking about dyeing your hair. If that offends you, you're not going to go buy that. And that's okay. Somebody will. Somebody's going to think that's fun. It's the same thing with Dollar Shave Club, right? Like they maybe use profanity, but they bleep it out. Like you know what it's saying.
Right.
But again, if that offends you, then you're
not their people.
You're not their buyer. Yeah.
And that's where all right. So, I've talked about finding your uniqueifier, which goes into target marketing. It really does. Because you guys do at Liger Partners do a phenomenal, you're a marketing company. You do a phenomenal job at marketing, right? That's your thing. But what I love about you guys and the work you've done with your clients is it's not cookie cutter. Like so many times, you'll hear somebody like, oh, you need to have a social media strategy. And it's boring and it's vanilla and it's what everybody else is doing. And I hate that with a passion.
Yeah.
Like if the more you can find your uniqueifier and put your personality into it, the better you're going to be. You will find your people. Like I totally am not for everyone professionally. I'm not for everybody personally, but I find my people because they gravitate to me. And one of my friends who's a coach was teasing me before. He's like, all of your friends, y'all all look alike. And we really don't. But those are my people. Like most of my clients are. They're type A. We're shopping. We're having fun. Like the women's summits we're putting together when the world opens up and we can actually get in a little hug and squeeze each other and travel is... The women's summits we're doing, we are going to have a stylist there for lunch. We're going to do photo shoots. We're having wine nights. We're going to have a champagne send-off because that's what my people do. Are people going to get offended by that? Yep. Do I care? Not a bit. Because I'm going to find the right people for me and my business. Yeah. Like I said, same thing with our girl, Rachel Hollis. She's kicking around in her Converse. It's just her. And I love that. So the authenticity and knowing yourself is what allows you to find the uniqueifier. But from a marketing standpoint, you've got to market to your people. If I start talking about shoes on the podcast, I'm going to get a lot of we talked about parachute pants and we got the most comments ever because we just get, your people just get you. Yeah. And that's where professionally, if everybody would figure this out and listen when we say this, is find what makes you different. Yeah. And I don't care if it's cussing or what, we've talked about this before. I'm not a huge cusser unless I'm really mad at my kids, which I'm still working on in my therapy.
Or stub your toe at night.
Oh my gosh, I did that yesterday and I was like, bless. It was bad. But, I don't cuss a lot professionally, on air, in my live talks when I speak in front of groups. But I'm a massive Gary Vaynerchuk fan. And I think he cusses 90% of the time. Yes. And I love that about him. Yep. Because it's so real. It's so him. Yeah. And, that's why he's got a gazillion followers. Yeah. It's not because of the cussing. It's just because he's him. Yeah. He's so comfortable with him. And he's like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. Yeah. And that's the part we've got to get to professionally is understanding your people and knowing your people, but being so clear in that if somebody doesn't fit what you're looking for and you don't fit them, it's okay to let them go, personally and professionally. Yeah.
Tran was saying you have definitely taught me that and know your worth, and thank you.
Oh, Tran. Yeah. So, Tran's a good example. We've talked about this before. Tran is a massively talented, video producer, marketing. You've seen her videos. She's awesome. It's, she's one of my close girlfriends, and our group, our tribe, did a strategy session at the beginning of the year because we're like, how can we help each other? And we all got together and we did a strategy session that myself and one of our other girlfriends led. And we pushed back on each other. We're like, you're so good, charge more. And it wasn't all about finances. It was about, you are so freaking good at this. Yeah. know your worth, charge your worth.
Yep.
And the more we can all start to do that, then we can take the right clients. We can do, I could charge a lot less, have to work twice as hard with the wrong people, but that would not be any fun.
Yeah.
At all.
There's a another book that I just recently read. I'm gonna butcher this name, so sorry. Yagami Moon, which is the title's different.
I can't even spell that. Yeah,
it's begins with Y and ends with me. I think it's Yagami.
Yagami.
Moon.
Okay.
The way you know the title.
Yeah, it sounds Japanese.
Yes,
okay.
It's different. And the way you know the title, there's a black lab and a white lab, and in the middle there's this Dalmatian.
Okay.
She gave this example of, and it speaks to your finding your unifier. Ferrari and Volvo, right?
Okay.
And they run these tests,
Yep.
and everyone talks about how safe Volvo is.
I know. It was my first car because my dad, it was safe.
Oh, okay.
I kid you not. Is that awful? It was so embarrassing.
Well, so on the flip, Ferrari scores rather low on safety because Ferrari is sexy and speed.
Right. And you're driving it really fast.
Yes.
My dad did not buy me a Ferrari.
Okay.
Dad.
I've never had one either.
No.
But if Ferrari looked at those consumer reports and said, wow, we score really low on safety, we ought to fix that.
Right.
They just became Volvo.
For sure. For sure. And there's nothing wrong with the Volvo. It's funny you
Yes,
mentioned
there
Volvo.
is nothing wrong.
Because I'm not joking. That was my first car.
Yeah.
My dad still drives a Volvo. My dad buys a Volvo, and then when it gets a little older, he buys a new Volvo.
Nice.
And then when that Volvo gets older, he buys another Volvo.
Yeah.
But my first car was a Volvo, and I realized I was blessed to have a car. My parents were great to provide that. He bought it for me because it was safe.
Yeah.
Now, this was back in the 80s, before you were born, when diesel engines were popular.
Yes.
And so it sounded like a bus when you
Nice.
cranked it up. It was like,
That's
so you knew it was
fantastic.
coming. I had a sunroof.
Mm-hmm.
It was crank. You just had to roll the sunroof
Nice.
open. It was,
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but it was safe, and that's why he bought it. And
Yep.
that is why he has stayed. I mean, he is so brand loyal to Volvos. It's not even funny.
But see, there
He
you
has
go.
stayed with them for, I mean, I think he bought his first one in probably 1980.
Yeah.
So he stayed with them for 40 years. Is that 40? Did I do the math right? 40 years because it's safe.
Yep.
That's his purchase for a vehicle.
Yep.
Has to do with safety. He's
Yeah.
not going to be driving a Ferrari. But you're right. Like, you know what makes you tick. And
Right.
they each know their audiences.
Yeah. It's the same with BMW and Mercedes, right? You're either one or the other.
Yeah, I'm an Audi girl.
Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, right? Like if they're
Beatles.
each trying to be
But you're right. Like, we know exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if one tried to be the other because, well, the Beatles are really popular because of this, well,
Yeah.
then you've got two of the same bands.
Yeah.
Or they're doing this. We should do this.
Yeah.
Right. And you'll see people do, so that's a good point, Isaac. A lot of times you'll see people shift and I've seen companies do this too.
Yep.
They'll shift. Now, I will say in financial services, and so for those of you guys listening who are my people in financial services, especially you managing partners, you need to hear this. Quit chasing the freaking shiny object, right? I will see like, oh, this company's doing this. We should completely shift and pivot and do this. And they're back and forth and trying so many different ideas that none of them are authentic to them.
Yep.
So that's the challenge. You know, that's my mission in working in financial services and why I stay so heavy in that industry. I want to change financial services. I want financial advisors to be themselves because my private clients are freaking awesome. They've got great personalities, but 99% of the advisors out there, you're looking at them, you're like, oh my God, this is so boring.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to want to work with their advisor because
Yeah.
finances is such a huge field. And our society is, we're going to talk about debt in a few months, but our society is so screwed up right now financially. Like, we spend more than we make. Debt
Yep.
is awful. People are buying crap they don't need to impress people they don't even care about, right? Back to finding your people. But it's, the problem is people are scared of the industry. People don't seek out financial advice because it's boring. And the advisors, for the most part, are boring. So I want people to find their unifier and put their personality into it. You want to wear cowboy boots to a meeting? Wear cowboy boots. You're going to find your people, right?
Yep. Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I think it's just, that's the same thing. I will say, what's my unifier wardrobe wise? We all know this. Anyone listening, chime in. What's the one I wear
Black.
black all the time.
Yeah.
I like black. It's my thing. And, I did have my birthday party where all my girlfriends wore pink. They're trying to get me to embrace
I
pink
got you
a little
a shirt
bit.
just like this for
I know,
Christmas, by the
I
way.
would freak out. I love it on you. But it sounds silly. A uniquifier can be anything. It's just something that makes you you.
Yeah.
It's Jesse Itzler right now is growing the big beard. Sarah, his wife, Blakely, is a big fan of Cheez-Its. We just know these little unique, quirky things about people. That's the part I want people to start embracing. Because if you can embrace that, you will find your people.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that you'll find them, they're going to find you. Like the people that come to me and get referred to me, they just know. Like people that, all the referrals I get, my private coaching clients are all referral. I'm not out marketing for coaching. I only take about 20, 25 clients at a time anyway, each year. And they're 100% referrals. Because the people that send them to me be like, oh my gosh, you're going to love this person.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's fun.
Angie Ray Cobb says, "Amen, sister."
Amen, sister. See,
Nice.
Angie's my tribe. Look, see, this is it. This is the tribe, chiming in. And you know all
Love
these
it.
people too.
I
so.
do. Hey, Angie.
Hey, Angie. Hey, Angie. But it's finding I don't know. It's just finding it and sticking it out and going deep with the people. Like anyone on commenting on here, most people right now that make comments are people that I know pretty well. And I love that. It's, especially with social media. I mean, I do have a decent following. I'm always trying to build it from a marketing standpoint, right? But the people that engage, those are the people. Those are the ones that you want to build. And we launched, and I'll put the link in here, our Success Blueprint community a couple weeks ago. And I know, excited about it. But it's was built around business development on trying to help people scale their business and make more revenue. But what I'm really excited about is the community aspect. Is, the cool stuff we're going to do online where we're featuring other members and we're trying to build community so we can all help each other. Because I feel like that's needed, but people are, I don't want to say scared of it, but they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So we're building it for
agree.
them. We are finding your people for you. And my hope is that people get in there and they engaged with the right people and they build some relationships from that.
Nice.
What you grinning at?
Angie, I know those kissy faces are for me.
They are. I will let you claim the kissy faces. So.
They're not for Kristen.
They're not for me. They're for Whitney. I know. But all right. So here's, as we're closing out today, we're going to keep bringing this theme up because it's really important to me. And whether you want to call it finding your people, target marketing, whatever. I mean, if you're talking about it from a business standpoint, it's target marketing is really what it is, because that's a buzzword in business right now. But what I would encourage you to do if you own your own business, whatever industry you're in, or if you're with a corporation, is really take the time when you talk about target marketing to describe the market. And physicians, the affluent, whatever. I'll have somebody say, I work with business owners. Well, whoop-de-doo. I mean, that doesn't tell me anything. That doesn't tell me who I can send to you. So as you're trying to find your people, describe them. Like I did, these are my Uber-driven type A's that, really like to have the wine night. Whitney's there seems to be a love fest going on here for Whitney.
I didn't say anything. I wasn't going to say it.
On our Facebook post, say I love you guys. See, this is why it's so cool, because you can have fun.
Yeah.
Like you can have fun. And I want everyone to get back to having fun.
Yeah.
And we do it personally. A lot of us do. Some of us need to have more fun than others, myself included. But I want you to do it professionally.
Yeah.
Like as you think of finding your people, I want to, let's throw out there, this week, I want you to do two things for me. Not you. Well, you and everybody listening. I want you to do two things for me. First, I want you to really sit down and ask yourself personally, what are the relationships that I am just uber excited about, that I love, that I need to cherish and nourish. And I want you to make sure that at least, list them out if you need to. I've done that. Make sure at least one of those people on your calendar each and every week. So you've got some energy. Your energizer is bringing you in. So that's one. The second thing I want you guys listening to do is write down professionally, if you work outside the home, write down who your people are, but describe them. Like describe them to me where if you were to call me and say, here's my person, and you described it professionally, I could picture somebody in my head. That's how deep I want you to get. Like if you want to say, I work with people who have curly hair and blah, 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 Fantastic. That's awesome. But I want you professionally describe who your people are, because as we dive in future months and future topics on building your business, and as we get in, for those of you guys that are in Success Blueprint, which I know a number of the people actually commenting are members of our community, I want you to really be able to go there. I want you to describe the person, because I am so pro supporting everybody that if you call me and say, hey, here's my people, I will find your people. I will help you find your people and make those connections. So that's the two things I want.
I love it. I was looking at Josh's comment. He said, I'm entering a new field and it gives me something to think about.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And kind of where my mind went on that, just as a last thought, was we were joking around again in our marketing video that I can't talk about. I had to go back to my roots a little bit. They made me talk a little bit country.
Oh, I love it.
And I thought, it's so easy for me because I'm spent a good portion of my life in Dahlonega, and I can go up there and I come back and I'm right back in that voice, right? I had to work to not speak with my twang.
Yep.
That's so like the people you hang around. You have to keep in mind that when you hang around them, the way they talk, the way they think is going to rub off on you.
For sure. Yes.
So if you don't want negative gunk, then
get rid of the gunky people.
Can't hang around gunky people.
And then the
so
actions
true.
Too, not just
Yes.
like the way
Yes.
you think, how you act.
That mindset.
It totally is how you act, because it's a mindset thing. Like I can't be around negative people. It drains the crud out of me. I just can't do it. I don't have, and my RBF acts up when I'm around the negative people. I make the face, and because I've done that before. I was out. I was at my daughter's black belt testing, and there was somebody there that I do not like for very personal reasons. And my daughter looks at me and goes, Mom, your face. And I'm like, what's wrong? I thought I had something on my face. She's like, your face. You're making the face. And I'm like, and I did. It just drained the life out of me. But that's what happens. Like if everybody had the facial expressions that their brain was thinking, just listen to those things. And, to Josh's point about congrats on the new field, but that's a big thing to think about, because frequently professionally we go after where we think we're supposed to be. We go after the money. And my friend Matt and I were having this conversation, it's not always about the money. Money's great. Yep. I love money. I love helping people make more money. But money it gives you choices, is what I personally, for me, money is about. Yep. It gives you choices of whether you want to be philanthropic, whether you want to buy a Ferrari, whatever it is. It gives you choices. But it's not about the money. You're always going to be miserable. I know people that make millions who are miserable, and it's because they're not around the right people. So the more we can grasp on personally and professionally this, so as Josh, as you go into your new field, figure out like where are the people I want. And even if you work for a corporation, find your people in the office. Yep. You guys, not all companies are like yours. You guys have cool, I think y'all only hire like fun, cool people. But that's your requirement. That's the brand, right? Yep. So some companies are boring. And I hate to say, I will not name them, but some companies are boring. Don't go work for that company if it's not you. Find the right place for you, because it's out there. I mean, there is a tribe for everyone. I mean, what's that meetup? Go to meetup.com and you can put any quirky thing in there and you're going to find your people. But just embrace that. Yeah. Embrace that. Whatever your uniqueifier is. Embrace it. Love it. You want to wear all floral shirts or all black. Love it. Be you. Right. All right. So those are the two things. Thank you, Miss Whitney, for being with us. And we're going to, as we continue going forward this month, our theme this month is renewing your business. So as we progress throughout the month, we've talked a lot about finding your people. And the reason I want you guys to engage and take some time to really be able to identify that is later this month, we're going to talk about how to engage those people. So finding your people is the first step, but really engaging them is the second. So we're going to talk about client engagement. We're going to talk about client loyalty. And we're also going to get into how to leverage social media with all of this. So that's kind of what we're going to spend time on the next couple of weeks. Then we're going to wrap up our month renewing your business, talking about planning, because it's planning season. It's time to get ready. We're doing Whitney's plan. So it's time to get ready for the new year. Yeah. So we are going to focus a lot. So this week, guys, I want you to find your people and make sure that you can truly, truly describe them, that you know who they are, and that you're picking people that energize you and help bring you closer to your goals. So Whitney, the marvelous Miss Mendoza, and Isaac, the marvelous Mr. Mendoza. Thank you guys for being with me. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until next week, keep pushing and let's renew so we can reclaim our life without losing our edge. We'll see you next week.